Hey everyone. So have you ever wanted to see the same layout on different types of books? I know that I have. I really like looking at the way a layout would be with different types of paper. So what I did was I set it up. So I have dotted, lined, grid, and blank. And what I'm going to do is the same layout throughout this setup, and we're going to try and see how it all looks and compare it at the end. Are you guys ready to go? All right, let's go.
So for supplies, I have two stencils that I use, the honeycomb one and the calendar one, three different types of colored markers focusing on yellow, two fine liners, 3 and 8, and an eraser. And these are the only supplies I use besides the pencil, obviously. But when we start to color them, I mainly wanted to focus on bees as the theme. And so I thought it'd be really fun to make the honeycombs look like they're dripping. And I tried to do an ombre with the words. The yellow is a little hard to see, but I still think it turned out really good. And then the dashed line behind the bee, I saw that on Jassy Corinne's, and I really just like it a lot. I think the bees are really cute. And the cover page is really simple, just trying to keep it not overly complicated. But then when we jump into the calendar, I tried to continue with the honeycomb. For some reason, it kept going toward the left when the drips were coming. I don't know. And then I tried to do a line across the top, maybe to put the date in. I'm not sure. I thought we could probably put the dates in the colored lines. And the boxes are 6 down and 6 across squares in the dotted lines. And I did the ombre again, trying to use the black to kind of do shadow highlight parts. Not sure if I quite like that. I probably would trace it over completely if I did it again. The little bees have their little dashes. I'm not sure about the size of the wings, but I think they turned out. And then I did a little to do on the side. I think it turned out really cute. One of the things that I kind of noticed that I had a little bit of an issue with was trying to figure out the bees, and actually this setup probably took me fully 20 minutes or more to set up. The calendar itself, not taking into account the penciling, the honeycombs and everything coloring, probably took me about 10 to 15 minutes. The whole setup itself probably took about 40 minutes to an hour. But the calendar is the basic type, starts from Monday to Sunday. That's the way I always do my calendars. And I like to have a big space because I usually only use calendars in my spreads. So I figured I would kind of do it like I would normally do my spreads. And so then the mood tracker. I decided to leave the honeycombs blank so that way I could fill them in with the moods, and then use the honeycomb colors separately to outline the different honeycombs, and then trace the colors in black to make the moods pop, I guess. And I tried to carry that ombre lettering throughout the entire spread, and so it felt like when I added that many bees, it felt a little busy and it took longer to do all the dashes and fill in the bees. But overall, I think it still turned out good. With the habit tracker, I had a really hard time seeing the word habit tracker. And I tried to do the dripping honeycombs again, and I really liked the way that the drips came off. I just tried to do it really organically and just let the pencil kind of flow. And when I used the um, stencil for the mood tracker, I just colored in with the yellow, and it worked to some degree and some it didn't. I thought you could like put a little black X or maybe the number to indicate which days you actually did it on. So I thought that could kind of work to add a little bit more color into it. And I used the bees bright yellow color. And overall, I feel like it really ties into the theme with both of them. I like the way that it came out. If I used habit trackers in this way, I would definitely use these in my own bullet journal. The honeycomb design worked really good for the mood tracker and for just decorations itself. I think that me personally, I don't use mood trackers anymore, and I'm actually okay with that. At first, I was a little bit like, but I feel like I use the planner, and I don't feel as stressed to use the planner by not having a mood tracker. But I know some people like to track how they're feeling, and now I'm just babbling along. But I really like the bees. I think that they are very, very cute. I love the little dash lines behind them. When I started setting up the weekly spread, I wanted to keep it very basic and easy. So I just did the darker honeycomb colors for the dashes for each day. And I put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on one side, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the other side. And I left an extra dash for like to-dos or ideals, anything that would go in that space itself. And I added some more honeycombs and just one little bee on one side because I felt like I was going a little crazy with the bees throughout the spread, so I kind of changed that up. But I didn't want you guys to watch me do this spread over and over again, so I only showed you the setup of one spread and then flipped through all of them so you can kind of see them individually first before I showed you side by side. So by doing the side by side comparison, which I'm really excited about just to kind of show you, I thought that I was actually surprised that I felt like the blank gave me more space, which is really weird because they're all the same size pages. But the blank I felt like gave me more space, and the lined was actually the hardest to use. And I can tell that I think because the blank had brighter paper, the honeycombs just looked better to me, so did the words. And I also thought that if you notice in the habit tracker of the, I think it's the grid one, it just smeared everywhere because I lifted it up by accident. It did it on the line one and the grid one. And I really struggled a little bit with that. And obviously I didn't make them exactly the same because with the mood tracker, the colors are in different places. But I tried to keep them really the same. And that was hard on itself because it was hard to make sure everything lined up with the grid and the dot. It was really easy to line up your calendar and everything else. Obviously, with the blank and the lined, it was a lot harder. But I felt like I had more freedom with the blank than I did with the lined because the lined was very it was hard to get the calendar exactly the way I wanted it. It felt like I had less space in each box. And overall, I think that um, I'm gonna say that I think that it looks good on no matter which one you use. And if you only have blank paper, I would say go for it. Um, because I thought that was way better than even the grid paper, which I was surprised because the grid paper was the one I used all for 2022. And that one, it worked out okay. I thought it looked good. So did the dot. Overall, I really didn't like the lined one. Mainly, I think because I felt like I didn't have as much room, which was really weird because like I said, they're all the same. But if you look at them side by side, tell me which one you think looks the best, and I would really like to know. Um, but I ranked them. So the first one that I ranked was the dotted journal was number one because I fully like that one. Then the blank, then the grid, and finally the lined. So that's the order that I like them in. I would love to hear you guys's if which one you like the best. And thank you guys for joining the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I like doing the comparative. I'm going to do some more comparative ones. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So Bamapi, have a very great and creative week and day. All right, see you.